Hello, my lovely YouTubers. Today I have a discussion to make. I want to talk about the difference between disorder and talent. You know, when I was growing up, I was labeled with ADD and ADHD and OCD, all these three-letter disorders. And at the time, I never felt like I was doing poorly. I wasn't thinking like as everybody else. I wasn't like zoomed in on the teacher all the time. I'd be drawing and reading other stuff while they were teaching, and then I'd go and take exams, and I'd get sometimes the highest score in class. I always did well. I was pretty much an A student my whole life. I've made B's, I've made C's, I've failed, but overall, I'm an A student. And it was other people trying to pick at me and telling me how my learning style or my mind's way of working wasn't normal, and how I needed to go and get therapy, and I needed to go have counseling, I needed to be on medication, and all this stuff. And my mother, being the glorious, wonderful woman she was, will be. No, my child's fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with him. Like, he's intelligent. Yeah, he talks a lot because he is listening and he's actively participating with you. I never have been, nor never will be, knocking on wood, be someone who just sits there and goes, that's not me. I am constantly thinking of questions. I'm continuously comparing everything in my life to other things. As soon as I learn something, I immediately scan my brain with how does this apply to everything I've ever learned in my entire life, and I put them here. And so being labeled as someone with multiple disorders from a very young age, I've learned that most of my disorders, all of them, are just talents. They're talents. I have the ability to do more than one thing at a time in my head. In my last video was about single task versus multitasking. And now I'm going to give an argument for multitaskers. And I've been able to take those disorders of being in multiple places at once, and I've been able to focus them down to a single point, which ultimately helps me really focus. And I have the ability now because I know how to scan my brain for different stuff. And so I'm looking at all this stuff: ADD, ADHD, bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, autism, Asperger's, Alzheimer's, and I'm looking at all these things now that are labeled so commonly by society as problems. And I just want to put it out there that I think they're talents. They're talents. We are so amazingly blessed to be surrounded by people that are different than us. Every single person in the world is different than every other person. And in some way, every single person of this planet has a disorder that could be applied to them. Because I've talked about one of my very, very first videos, the only reason why we can label ourselves as imperfect is if we compare ourselves to other people. And if we're comparing other people to other people and then labeling that person as disordered, then what we've done is we've singled them out and we've put them as like a problem child or a problem individual who we basically lose some sort of respect for as a society because they're not functioning to how we think they should be. And that needs to go away. Bye. Like, people are put in our lives for a reason. They have a certain viewpoint that we don't have. And instead of casting them out and ignoring them and putting them into a room of other crazies, we should be welcoming them into our lives and listening to them for what it is they have. How are they looking at the world in a way that we are not? And what is it that we're supposed to learn from that, and how can we grow and become better people by listening to the talents of others? There are no disorders. If you label someone as having a disorder, you need to put a mirror between you and them and start asking yourself, what disorder do I have right now that I can't functionally look at them with just pure love and know that they have radiance and wisdom too? Turn that mirror around. When something's wrong with someone else, put a mirror between you and them, because something wrong with you. And it's okay. We're gonna work through it together. We're all gonna reach that point of happiness together by accepting and appreciating the talents of others.